Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Nikki the Rose, and in today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you some amazing, affordable makeup products that are going to be great for beginners. So, budget friendly, beginner friendly, let's get right into it. The first product I want to share with you is a really beginner friendly and also budget friendly product. This is from Revlon. It's a newer product that I've been testing out that I really like. For the ease of use, the way it blends into my skin is very, very quick, very, very easy. You do not have to be a pro makeup artist to be able to put this on your skin and make it look really beautiful and just seamless. It's the Revlon Serum Tint. This does have broad spectrum SPF 15 in it, but I would suggest putting your SPF like a higher number, at least 40 to 45 to 50 if you can do it, underneath before you apply your makeup. So I already have my sunscreen on. This can be like a little additional. So I'm gonna squeeze some out on the top of my hand. So I suggest for any beginner when you're just starting out and you're wanting a quick way to apply your makeup, I don't suggest squirting it onto your skin. I don't feel like you have as much control with your application. It could be a little bit more messy. So as a beginner, I would suggest avoiding that and instead place it on the top of your hand. Grab a foundation brush. This is of course my N17 brush with BK Beauty. And the shade that I'm putting on is 317. Now this is an $18.99 foundation. Very affordable. It's not the cheapest foundation you could buy, but it's a great formula that I highly recommend. So you're gonna get a nice formula with this that is also very budget friendly. So when you're a beginner, you wanna be mindful of where you first initially place your product. For example, I like to start in the center of my face, and it's something I suggest just across the board, whether you're a beginner or not. Applying your product in the center of the face, and then as you blend out, you're gonna work your way out to the outside of your face. Now what this is gonna do is give you the coverage where you need it the most, which for most of us is typically the center of our face where we have the most redness. We can have the most discoloration in those areas of our face. And then as you blend it out, you'll get a much more natural, seamless finish, and it will really help you to avoid that harsh foundation line. You know, like that line across the jawline that we've all been guilty of having. I myself have definitely been guilty of having this before in the past, or just when I'm in a really big hurry, I've made the mistake of just having too much foundation along my jawline, and that can end up looking really unnatural. So if you're a beginner, try to focus most of the products in the center of your face, and then as you're done blending, you're gonna blend out to the outer edges of your face, and it's gonna give you just a seamless, natural finish. So this is gonna give me a really soft, radiant finish as well. Amazing if you have drier skin. I feel like all skin types can benefit from this Revlon product. If you are oily like me, you're gonna wanna maybe powder down a little extra with this formula because it does have a very serum and radiant finish to it, which feels really nice, feels very beautiful. Now, another reason why I chose this for a beginner versus like a full coverage foundation, or at least like a more medium to buildable coverage foundation, is because products like this, tinted moisturizers, skin tints, CC creams, serum tints in this case, they're gonna be way more beginner friendly because they're more sheering coverage. So, you know, let's say you're not the most incredible blender yet, if you're just starting out and you're more of a beginner with your makeup, you're gonna wanna go for more sheer formulas because they are just much, much more forgiving. As you're building up your blending skills and as you're getting more used to wearing products like this and foundations, this is gonna be so user-friendly, so beginner-friendly because it's gonna melt into your skin really quick, really naturally. And the more pigment that a product has, the more blending and the more buffing and the more overall like manipulating you're gonna have to do on your skin to get it to look really, really seamless and to really blend into the skin. Okay, foundation is on, it looks great. I didn't even have to bring this down my neck because it is more sheer and the color is more sheer as well. So it's gonna be more forgiving, like I said. So I'm not gonna have to bring this all the way down my neck. It's just really color matching and blending into my skin in a really nice, natural way. All right, so next up we're gonna do concealer. And if you're a beginner and if you've ever reached out and asked what should come first, concealer or foundation, the answer is always gonna be foundation. So foundation first, and then concealer is meant to cover up any areas that you need additional coverage. So once you've evened out your whole complexion with your foundation or your tinted moisturizer, like in this case, then you're gonna wanna go in with a nice, easy to use, easy to apply, easy to blend concealer. One of my favorites for budget friendly is the Maybelline Eraser. This is $10.99, I believe. Yeah, $10.99, depending on where you purchase it. I'm pretty sure it's typically sold for $10.99 across the board. But the reason why I like this one so much is because I feel like you get a lot of control with this sponge tip applicator. Now, not everyone loves the sponge tip applicator. In my opinion, I feel like this is really, really beginner friendly and easy to use. So once you've twisted a small amount up to the sponge, you'll kind of see it come through the surface, which is actually really cool. And you're gonna wanna swipe just in the areas that you need it, okay? So try to be mindful not to go too intense with a concealer if you're just starting out. Less is more, and until you're used to whatever concealer formula that you're using and how to blend it in. Less is definitely more with your concealer. So just 2 swipes for my eye. And I am actually going to take, even though this is much lighter, I'm going to dot a little bit onto these 2 pimples I have on my cheek. Now what you can also do is just swipe a bit on the base of your eyelid to color correct and cancel out any redness or pigmentation that you have on your eyelids. I highly recommend you do this even if you're a beginner. If you plan on wearing eyeshadow, I highly recommend you place whatever concealer you're using. It doesn't have to be a different brand. It doesn't have to be anything wildly different from what you're using under your eyes. So I'm using the same product as a eyeshadow base on my eyes. And 1 thin layer all over the eyelid is all you need to cancel out redness, hyperpigmentation, any kind of discoloration that you might have on your eyes. And it's gonna act like our natural, very beginner-friendly base for our eyeshadow to go on top. You know, even if you are just a beginner and you're just trying to do like a simple eye makeup look, which is what I'm gonna show you in this video, you still wanna do it the right way. And by that, I mean cancel out any redness, cancel out any discoloration, and prep your eyes to some extent with some form of an eyeshadow base, whether it's concealer like I'm showing you right now, which is so easy, or an actual eyeshadow primer. You could use them both together if you want to get kind of fancy, but just starting out, using your concealer only is more than enough and just what you need. So we'll go back to this area in a bit because we will set it with a teeny bit of powder, but for now, let's blend in under the eyes. And when you're just starting out with concealer, the last thing you want to do is take your brush and just start swiping back and forth. You want to be a little bit more mindful. So if you need coverage and you want to control where the product is actually going, you're going to want to actually use a firm amount of pressure and tap it in. So see how I'm kind of tapping it in under my eyes? I'm not going back and forth yet. You can once your product is thoroughly patted and pressed into your skin so you keep the coverage. So I'm going to press it and press it. And then before you know it, it's melted into my skin, blending in nice and quick and naturally. And then after that is pressed into your skin with that tapping motion, then you could go in with the tip of the brush, which has longer fibers on it. And that's when you're going to want to sweep across under the bottom lash line, and you're going to want to pick up excess product and really blend it in. So that way you're not left with a bunch of creasy, too much buildup and too much product in this delicate area of your under eye, because the more product that you have in the center right here where we have a lot of fine lines, this is a high traffic area, we have a lot of movement in our eyes, so obviously no matter what your age is, we're going to have some form of fine lines under our eyes. That's just the way it is. But the less product you have in this area, the less you're going to have creasing throughout the day. So that's why I start out on either end of my under eyes, and then with whatever's left over, that's all you need to blend across, because less is more in this area of your eye. Now with whatever's left over, I'm going to just blend into the tear duct of my eye where I want some extra brightening, and then just softly diffuse the edges. And then by that, I mean like this edge right here, we're just going to go back and forth and softly diffuse it so it blends in and it looks nice and natural. Now let's tackle this pimple, because what I'm going to do is actually put some more of the foundation on top. But when you're covering a pimple and you're using the same concealer that you use under your eyes, let's say you don't want to have 2 concealers. The reason why this wouldn't be an ideal way to cover up pimples is because your under eye concealer is usually a little bit lighter than the rest of your complexion for more of a brightening effect. And when you're trying to use that for also pimples, it makes them stand out like a sore thumb. So if you're in a pinch and you want to keep your products very, very, very minimal, take more of your foundation and layer it in a tapping motion on top. Don't go back and forth. Don't swipe back and forth. Tap it with gentle pressure. That's going to deposit a lot of product where you need the most coverage, and then you're going to let it sit and dry down and self-set to some extent. All right, let's quickly blend out the rest of this side. Tapping it in just like that. Really pressing it into our under eyes, and then blend out the edges for a seamless, natural finish. Now with whatever's left over, let's say you need a little bit of extra concealer. For me, around my nose, I get a lot of redness around my nose. Okay, now that we applied all the liquids, and that's right, I'm not doing any other liquids or any other creams on my skin, at least not on the base. And when I think of beginner friendly, like really, really beginner friendly and easy to use products, cream blushes, they can be extremely easy to use, and cream bronzers can be extremely easy to use. But when I really think of like what's the easiest thing that I recommend for beginners or people that are just starting out with makeup, I think powder blushes definitely outbeat cream blushes and liquid blushes. So for that reason, and same with bronzers. So I'll share with you 2 amazing and easy beginner-friendly formulas. They're also budget-friendly in just a bit. But before you apply those, we need to set the liquid complexion products we have on our skin. Now, this is the most expensive product I'm about to share with you. This is $28. It's still, however, in my opinion, pretty budget friendly. $28, it's not astronomical. And to be very honest with you, there is nothing more important than a good and well-formulated powder to set your makeup. Now, honestly, I have yet to find a good, affordable setting powder, whether it be loose or pressed. There's plenty that I have. I've tried so many. I can't even tell you. I've tried countless, but there's none I recommend. And that's just the bottom line. If you can save your money anywhere you can in those areas, and that's much easier, and then splurge a little bit on a good formulated powder to set your makeup, trust me when I tell you, it is so worth it. It is so worth every single penny. This is the Get Ready, Get Set Velour powder. It's a pressed powder that does set your makeup, also blurs, also mattifies, also smooths. They have 4 different shades for $28, and I have the shade Palisades Pink, which I'm going to use under my eyes and in my T-zone. And let me show you how easy it is to set your makeup, even if you're a beginner. So I'm going to grab my N14 brush. I'm going to dip into it. I'm not going all over the place. Try to avoid like picking up too much excess product and creating a big mess. Press your brush into the pan just like that, and then you're gonna press it under your eyes. And it's the same idea with, blending out your concealer. You don't want to just swipe back and forth. Press under your eyes. Be delicate in this area. Our under eyes are a very delicate area of our face. You don't want to go too aggressively under your eye. And then once you have thoroughly dried down the wet concealer with the powder, then you could go in and lightly just do a windshield wiper motion back and forth to buff off any excess product, only if you feel necessary, but that's it. Under eyes are set like a pro. This is the quickest and easiest way to achieve a set under eye and a set T-zone. So now I'm going to take a little more powder, press it onto any areas of my cheek where I'm going to apply some blush. This powder is really, really impressive. I think this is like one of the best Tower 28 launches in a minute, and I love tons of their products. I love their concealer. Tower 28 has some amazing, amazing products, but this powder is fantastic. Very lightweight. I would say it's good for all skin types, oily, dry, combo, young, mature, you name it. I'm going to switch to a larger powder brush. This is my N15 brush with BK Beauty. I'm going to tap into this. I'm going to swirl back and forth. Now, I'm not trying to deposit a heavy amount of powder in this area, like in my forehead. I'm just trying to get a thin, lightweight layer. So I'm applying minimal pressure and just kind of lightly dusting this back and forth on my forehead. Whereas I did the pressing motion under my eye because I didn't want to disrupt that concealer. I just want to lock it down and really secure it into place. Places like your forehead, it's not like a high traffic area where you have like that much movement. Like you do have movement, obviously, but you don't have as much movement as your eyes, so like your under eyes. Tapping it in. The forehead, generally speaking, is much more of a smoother area, so you can go back and forth, just like I mentioned. All right, so now we have a thin layer of powder almost everywhere. But before we move on, we are gonna set our eyelids. This is very important, even if you are a beginner. Whatever you put on your eyelids to prep them, you're gonna wanna set it. So same Tower 28 powder, N14 brush, tap it all over, and you'll have a nice smooth base for when we get to the eyeshadow, which is gonna be pretty soon. Now, take a step back in the mirror and realize you have just taken away all shadows, all depth, all contrast, all color to your skin. So now we need to bring it back. This is so, so important. If you're a beginner, you have to bring color and warmth back to your complexion. First thing you're gonna start with is not blush, it's gonna be bronzer. This is an incredible, affordable bronzer. This is only $4. It's a powder bronzer from Rimmel London. And I like this, and I think this is really beginner friendly because it's buildable. So when you're just dabbling with bronzers and products like that, you don't want to go for something that's so highly pigmented that you have to be really good at blending and finessing the product to get it to look even and not patchy or streaky. Buildable is going to be your best friend if you are a beginner. Now you're going to want to pair your powder bronzer with a soft, more fluffy powder brush. This one's larger. It's going to be a lot larger than my N15. So my N15 we're actually going to save for the blush when we get to that. But this is going to be ideal if you're a beginner and you're just starting out with bronzer, especially powder bronzer, because the larger the brush, the more natural of an application you're going to get. So this is just big enough where it's going to give me a natural application, but it's not too big where it's going to be really hard to control where the powder bronzer goes. So this is a perfect in-between size for a powder bronzer application. So 104 brush from BK Beauty. Now we're going to just pick up some bronzer kind of all over the brush. Tap off the excess, and then you're going to want to hit the high points of your face. So I'm going to sweep back and forth anywhere the sun would naturally hit me, which of course is going to be the highest point on my forehead right here. Unless you have really light blonde hair or really light gray hair, you're going to want to avoid your hair and like getting into your hair. But if you are a brunette like me, you can kind of get in there and really get this into your hairline so you have a nice seamless blend and no separation of like where it stops and where it starts. So just buffing back and forth, light pressure. You don't need to go too heavy with this. The brush is going to do all the work for you, which is the good thing. You just have to get the motion down. So I kind of think of it as like a half moon, large C blending. So, or even like a windshield wiper motion is going to be exactly what you need to think about when you're doing this. And I'm avoiding this small center of my forehead between my brows right here because we want that to be lighter to have balance. So just try to focus on the highest points. It's going to be more flattering. It's going to give a soft sculpted effect and just be really nice and natural. Perfect. Pat my hair back down. Now for cheeks, don't try to apply it all over. Don't try to go too crazy all over. Just do this. You're going to look straight into a mirror and you're going to tap along the cheekbone. Bring it down, dip into a bit more, and start to layer. And you're going to want to layer until you get the desired effect, and it's going to be personal for everyone. You're either going to want to have a lot of bronzer, or you're going to want to have just like the bare minimum to warm up your skin. It's really up to you, and that's where you're going to want to customize it to what you want to see on your complexion. So I love bronzer personally, even for a natural look. I love the warmth it gives my complexion. I think it's really flattering. And I do like to go a bit higher up for my face shape and my cheeks. It gives me a really settled, contoured effect to my complexion. Again, with whatever's left over, just kind of cascade it along your jawline. Don't go in for additional product that can lead to a separation where you have too much makeup on your jawline. And again, we're really trying to avoid that. But if you just take whatever's left over, just enough. Okay, let's finish up this side. Tapping, and always start in the area of your cheek where you want the most pigmentation to be. Same rule of thumb with eyeshadow as well. So I like to start it on the area where I want to be the most impactful and I want to have the most color payoff, which is going to be really in this outer portion towards my ear. Put it in. Optional, however, I highly suggest you do this. Take a teeny bit more of the bronzer. Yes, this brush is very big, but trust me, you're going to take a little bit on the tip of the brush and you're just gonna hit the top of your nose. It doesn't have to be precise. It doesn't have to be a contoured effect. Just bringing color and balance to the center of your face is gonna give you the most perfect, very pro-like look to your makeup. And it's just gonna bring that balance. It's very subtle, but trust me, it makes a huge, huge difference in our complexion. And you're not gonna try to contour. You're not gonna try to be precise. You wanna be the opposite. You wanna just dust this all over with just very, very minimal bronzer, and then you're done. Our complexion is warmed up. Now we're gonna take the same bronzer, and we're gonna create the easiest beginner-friendly eyeshadow look you will ever do, I promise you. So grabbing a blending brush, this is my N15 brush, same Rimmel bronzer. Now that our eyes are prepped, you're just gonna run the bronzer in a windshield wiper motion back and forth into the crease of your eye. This is gonna create depth. It's going to create some dimension. It's going to bring out your eyes. It's going to make them look bigger, more open. It's going to do so many amazing things that I don't want you to skip out on. So just take the bronzer and again, start in the outer corner and then do a windshield wiper motion straight across your crease. Just back and forth, back and forth. Build it up to your liking. I'm probably going to do about 3 different dips of bronzer to build it up. Not picking up too much product, just layering thin amounts till it's nice and even and natural. So windshield wiper, back and forth, easiest, quickest way. And be mindful not to go too far down on your eyelid because that will actually bring down the appearance of your eyes. And we're not going to try to do that. We're trying to open up your eyes. So keep it up high in the crease. 2 seconds, you're done. Now, even if you're a beginner and you want like a quick eyeshadow look, shadow sticks are so easy to utilize and so quick. They're also very affordable. This one is from L'Oreal. It's the Lace Shadow Stick. And this is the shade Magnetic Bronze. Now, one thing I always recommend if you're a beginner at makeup and you're just starting out with your eyeshadow and you're just getting into eyeshadows, I always suggest sticking to warm, neutral, or at least bronzy browns and earth tones because they're more universally flattering. They're really easy to work with. So whether you have blue eyes, brown eyes, hazel, doesn't matter what your skin tone is, bronzy, neutral browns are going to be so flattering on everyone. So this is a shadow stick from L'Oreal. Shadow sticks are just so easy to work with because you don't have to have a lot of skill. You take the shadow stick, twist it up a little bit, and you're just going to run this across the base of your mobile lid. So not your crease, but your actual eyelid, the part that covers up your eyeball. Keep it to that area, and then I'm going to share with you how to blend it up so you have a professional looking eyeshadow look in just 2 steps. So a couple swipes across, just like that. And then you're just going to take the same blending brush. You don't need to get another one if you don't want to. If you want to keep it really minimal, just take the same eyeshadow blending brush and just start to diffuse the edge of this shadow stick up and into the crease. Now there's so many affordable shadow sticks on the market. Milani actually has some good ones as well, but I find that this one from L'Oreal. It's newer, and this one has the most longevity, even out of ones that are like high-end, like Laura Mercier, NARS. Like those are all great as well, but this one is really, really long wearing. So if you have oily eyelids, or if things just don't last on your eyelids in general, this formula is really, really good for longevity. I'm gonna layer a little bit more and just blend it out. Now you can see with this, I'm using a tighter blending technique. I'm really keeping it tight, and I'm using more pressure to get it to blend out and look diffused. Bit more on that side. Tight blending, almost in like a tight circular motion, into the crease. When in doubt, blend a little more. It's always a good rule of thumb. If you're not sure if you blended enough, blend a little bit more, and that's what's gonna give you a more professional look to your eye makeup. The more seamless it's gonna look, the more natural it's gonna look. It's not gonna look too heavy, and that's the shadow stick. So quick, so easy. Bronzer, shadow stick blended out. Now, if you want to get a little more fancy, if you want to have a little bit more depth, and if you want to line your eyes, let me show you a really quick, really beginner-friendly way to line your eyes. So you're going to take a small blending brush. This is my N12 brush that I made with BK Beauty. Now, this is the 12-hour eyeliner from Sephora. Very affordable. This is $12. They always have sales on these too, where they're like, sometimes I get them for $8. They're a great, great deal, and they're really easy pencil formula, so very, very beginner-friendly. Now, choose a shade. Of course, depending on your skin tone, you might want to go deeper than what I'm showing you right now. But for my complexion, lighter, a little bit deeper, this shade is really nice and natural. It's the shade Tiramisu. So it's a matte formula, and it's just a dark, rich brown. But if you're deeper, you might want to go for a really rich, chocolatey dark brown or a black pencil instead. So I'm going to take my N12 brush, and you're not going to directly apply this. If you're a beginner and you want a really soft, really natural, really well executed eyeliner look that doesn't take you forever and a day, take your brush. You're gonna take the brush into the pencil. You're gonna pick up a decent amount, look straight into your mirror, and we're just gonna hit close to our lashes. What this is gonna do is two things. It's going to define our eyes in a really soft, natural, very, very beginner-friendly way, and it's also gonna make our eyelashes look much more dense than they actually are. So if you have really thin, sparse lashes, this trick and technique is going to be a game changer for you. So very soft, very easy. You do not need to be a pro at your eyeliner to get this to look professional. So I'm tucking this slowly with short blending strokes into the root of my lashes. Now it's up to you how far in you want to go. I like to stop about halfway. I find that's a really natural way to open up your eyes where it's not too intense, and you don't run the risk of closing up your eye shape. So if you have smaller eyes or more deep set eyes, I would avoid going all the way across because you could end up looking like your eyes are smaller than they actually are. So halfway, or you could just do a quarter of the way, but see how it's just soft and diffused and not too intense? It's just a hit every time. So let's do the other side. Brush to pencil, pick up the product, look straight into the mirror, start at the outer corner of your eye where you want the heaviest amount of product applied. Tuck it in small, short blending motions as close to your lashes as humanly possible. As you get closer across the eyelid, you want to really taper it and be very slow and very careful so you don't apply too much across your eyelid. When you're doing this at home, if you feel your eyelashes moving back and forth, that's how you know you're getting close enough to your lashes and you're getting close enough to the lash line. And if you're not feeling your lashes move across your eyes over and over again as you're blending, then you're not going close enough. Basically, you want to push it in to the lashes like that. And that's it. Your eyeliner is done. The great thing about this too is they're 12-hour wear, they're water resistant, they're smudging resistant, they're sweat resistant, they stay put really, really well. Especially if you apply it with a brush like this, then you're gonna have a really great, long-wearing, diffused, soft eyeliner application. Now, a really affordable mascara that I think is very, very beginner-friendly as well because of the brush I'm about to show you in a second. This is the e.l.f. Lash Extender Mascara. It's $7. It's long-wearing, easy to work with. It's a very simple but in a good way type formula, so anyone can use this on their lashes. But one of the reasons why I really chose this one, not just for the affordability, is because the brush I find is really easy to work with. The bristles aren't so long where it's gonna just kind of hit the rest of your eyelid and it's gonna be really messy. It's a really short bristled brush and it's a plastic brush. It's tapered at the end so you can get into the inner corner of your eye without creating a mess, like I said. So really ideal for a beginner. So you're gonna take the mascara, grab a smaller mirror, and you're gonna just look straight into the mirror and blink down. Try to hold the wand up into the root of your lashes and then blink onto it. If you're not used to this technique, I encourage you to keep trying it until you get used to it. The more you do it, the more it's become second nature. It could feel a little weird at first because we're kind of used to getting there and like moving back and forth and kind of going all over the place. If you're a beginner and you want a really great effect to your lashes and you want your mascara to apply really evenly and just not in a messy way, I'm telling you, hold it still, and most of the movement is going to come from you blinking on top of the wand. Look at that. Great formula. And for $7, super affordable. Not bad. Okay, let's do the other side. I'm going to dip into more. Same technique. Getting it as close to the root as possible. That's going to give you some really nice lift and also some more depth and like just an overall thicker appearance to your lash line, which is what we're trying to do, right? Now, whether you're a beginner or not, I really honestly strongly encourage you to skip the bottom lashes because it could be just so messy. No matter what we do, whether it's a longwear formula, water resistant, waterproof formula, it's super inevitable that it's going to somewhat transfer even just a little bit to where our beautifully set under eye concealer is. It's almost inevitable. It really is. So I strongly encourage you to just avoid that instead. If you want some soft, very soft definition on the bottom lash line, go back to your bronzer. Same N12 brush, just without the liner on it. I just grabbed a clean one. Take the bronzer, shade a little bit across where the bottom lashes are, and that's going to give you a similar effect in a much less messy way. So it's going to add some more depth, and it's going to just define that bottom lash line. It's going to open up your eye shape even more, but the great thing is it's not going to look spiky or messy or smudgy or runny throughout the day. So easy, beginner-friendly technique, and I highly encourage you to skip that bottom mascara. I promise you, it'll make a big difference with the way your makeup wears throughout the day. Okay, we're gonna go back to powder, and I'm gonna share with you probably, in my opinion, one of the best affordable powder blushes of all time. I talk about these a lot. These have been a staple in most of our collections for a long, long time. They're the Milani Baked Blushes. These come so close to looking better than most high-end luxury powder blushes. The formulas are just fantastic. The shades are gorgeous. This is a classic pink. This is Dolce Pink. And if you have not tried the Milani Baked Blushes and you're just starting out with makeup, this is going to be your new best friend because they're going to apply so easy, so beautifully, so seamlessly with minimal effort and minimal skill. Going back to my N15 powder brush with BK Beauty, to me this is a really great size for applying a powder blush. It's not too big where you're going to lose control. It's not too small or it's going to deposit too much product in one spot. It's just right for most face shapes. So taking my N15 and I'm just going to tap into it. I'm not swirling, I'm not getting too much. I'm just kind of tapping in, kind of coating a bunch of different sides. Tap off the excess just in case. Pick up a bit more, tap it off. You should be good to go. Now, this is where it's going to be more personal as to where you're going to apply your blush. For me and my face shape, I like to go a little higher and you're just going to tap it on. You're not going to buff aggressively. That might ruin or disrupt your powder bronzer and your concealer and the powder that we put to set the makeup. You want to just tap it on nice and gently. You can look straight into a mirror to see where it's landing as you're doing it. Now, if you want to go on the apples for more of a youthful look, you totally can. If you want to go higher up for more of a lifted look, it is up to you. Wherever you want to place your blush, it's going to be personal for everyone. But as far as beginner friendly and budget friendly, the Milani $10.99, you will not find a better powder blush. I mean, there's plenty of great ones out there, but this one is so beginner friendly because the fact that it's baked means it's just a little bit more on the sheer side. It's not so heavily pigmented, making it super beginner friendly. That's a blush. And it's gonna look even and perfect every single time if you utilize those techniques. And if you get a good affordable blush that is not too overly pigmented, this one is going to be so beginner friendly for you, I promise. Okay, now let's tackle the brows because there's two ways you can go about this. It's going to be personal to how your brows are naturally. Now, if you're someone like me who has very sparse, very thin, very non-existent brows, you're going to want to go for two things: a pencil to shape and a tinted brow gel to thicken, to create more depth, to create more hair-like fibers onto your brows and to give them more of a thick, full look. Now, this is like a go-to of mine. These are both incredibly inexpensive. These are like $8 and $5. I will die on a hill for e.l.f. Brow Wow. I really will. Like this, I just go hard for this stuff. This is such an incredible, affordable product. And if you're a beginner, very easy to use, very easy and user-friendly. Now, let's just say in theory, if you're a beginner, but you already have naturally really thick, beautiful brows and you need minimal work and you just want to tame them naturally, then the L'Oreal 24-hour brow lamination is an incredible, affordable option to the more high-end ones like the Anastasia, the Patrick Ta, all the ones that are out there that are more pricey. This one's going to be a great affordable option for you. So If you have full brows, you just want to tame them, this one is really worth checking out. Make sure you link it, of course. But if you're like me, you're going to want to do 2 different products. Both are incredibly affordable. So first things first, I'd say fill in your brows with a tinted brow gel. So e.l.f. Brow Wow, this is the shade Dark Brown. Now I'm going to brush this just up into my brows. By brushing them up, it's going to show the hair length, and it's going to overall make my brows look wider and thicker and more full. And then as I get to the tail, I just kind of curve it down a bit. Already a huge difference. Gigantic difference. I'm telling you, the fibers in this are unmatched. Like, this is such a thickening, amazing $5 brow gel. So same thing, I'm going to push it up, brushing it up into my brows. Now this brow is really sparse, more sparse than that one, and I have no tail to my brows. Like, there's no hair to attach anything to. This will still give you such a full looking brow even if you don't have it. So this is like the ultimate tool, whether you're a beginner or not, to fake it till you make it with your brows. All right, that's about all I'm gonna get out of that side. So once I've done the tinted brow gel and I've added as much thickness as I possibly can to my really sparse brows, that's when you're gonna wanna go in with a pencil and fill in any of the areas that you still need more something. So very affordable. It's the NYX Micro Brow Pencil, an incredible alternative to Anastasia Beverly Hills, Patrick Ta, Benefit, all the more high-end pencils out there. This is a really amazing, affordable option. I do still believe that this pencil is very beginner friendly as well. So I'm gonna fill in any gaps, just like that. Now this area needs a lot more help. I'm gonna have to shade in. And of course, you're gonna wanna try and match the shape of your brows so they look somewhat even, but at the end of the day, just remember, you know, they're not going to be total twins. So just get them to match up as good as you possibly can. And, you know, remember, no one's brows are perfectly symmetrical and no one's brows are perfect in general. So give yourself some grace and get them to the point where they're good enough. And if you feel like you ever go too heavy with your brows, the handy thing is you take the clean spoolie on the other end and you would just want to brush through them lightly, removing a little bit of the excess pigment and color just to soften them a bit. And that's only if you feel like you went too harsh. Very crucial step, take a step back in your mirror, look at your brows, see if they're even enough. Looks good, passes the test. Now we get to move on to lip. Such an amazing, affordable lip liner. Now I'm all about affordable lip liners. There are so many affordable ones that I love. I love the NYX ones. I love the ones from LA Girl Cosmetics. I love some ones from e.l.f. that are only $2, but I really like the signature lip pencil from Moira Cosmetics. These are only $7.50. They have an amazing shade range to choose from. Very flattering, very universally flattering shades to choose from. This is the shade Terracotta, which is not what you would think from a terracotta, like judging by the name. You do not need to get it perfect. You do not need to fill in the entire lip. Let me show you exactly what to do as a beginner. That is super easy. So you're gonna look in the mirror. I like to start in the center on both top and bottom. So look into the mirror. Start here. As you get to the outer part of your lip line, you're gonna wanna softly smile into the mirror. Just like that. When you're softly smiling, you're creating a more smooth surface to apply your lip liner. Rather than keeping your lips closed, you wanna smooth them out. And by smoothing them out, I mean like just smile into the mirror. And it'll instantly smooth over the lines, so you'll get a more smooth application and even application with your lip pencil. Another thing I want to point out too is don't go in like this. Angle your pencil to the side because you'll get less tugging, less skipping, less pulling, and it'll go on much smoother. So smile. You don't need to go all the way in these corners. Skip it. Trust me, it's not necessary. And then same with the bottom. Let's do a little here, a little here. Skip this, skip this. It's gonna look too heavy, too dramatic. If you're just a beginner and you want to look more natural, keep it to these areas and just keep it simple. Now another trick that I highly recommend you utilize, okay? Just to soften the overall look of your lip liner, if you're just beginning, it might take you a minute to perfect the line, the shape, and all that stuff and to get used to using it. So take your finger and you're gonna softly diffuse the line so it just becomes a part of your lips and less makeup-y, less noticeable. It's gonna look just more soft, more natural. Same thing on the top. Just run your finger back and forth. Do it right away so your lip liner doesn't dry down too much. And that's it. Soft, easy, undetectable. Looks amazing. Now for a lipstick, I say avoid it. If you're a beginner, skip the lipstick. Get a good tinted lip gloss, tinted lip oil, tinted lip balm. This one is so affordable, so nice, feels amazing on my lips, and is very pigmented, but in a really easy to use and apply applicator. So this is the NYX Fat Oil Slick Click Shiny Lip Balm. And I have the shade Going Viral. This is a really nice, natural, very flattering tone. So you click it up, and it's just a tinted, juicy lip balm. This is $11, very affordable, and just easy to use. You don't have to be a pro to put this on. And these are very pigmented. They're very juicy, very glossy. So you can either run it back and forth on your lips like I did, or you could just press it on for a bit more control. Juicy, easy, glossy, so beginner friendly, and so budget friendly for only 11 bucks. Now, another budget friendly product that I want you to pick up if you're just starting out is a setting spray. I've used this for years. I've talked about it for years. It's been my drugstore affordable favorite. It's the Milani Make It Last. I go through so many bottles of this product. It is just such a great setting spray that will not break the bank. So only $10.99, a really great affordable option. If you like, let's say you like the Charlotte Tilbury airbrush setting spray like I do, I love that one. If you want something more affordable that works very, very similar, this one is definitely the one to pick up. So shake it up. Always shake up your setting sprays. If they're sitting on your shelf, if they're sitting on the bottom of your makeup bag, always shake up that formula before you apply it to your skin. Now, one rule of thumb, if you're just starting out, don't just go like this and spray at close range to your face. You will ruin your makeup. It will destroy your makeup, honestly. Shake it up. I want you to go up above your face, close your eyes, let it fall down. Once it's falling down, it's gonna hit your face at such a gentle, nice speed that's not gonna disrupt any of your makeup. Now it's gonna look really wet, but that's the point. You wanna thoroughly saturate your skin and your makeup to actually have it work and do something. One spray like that is not gonna be enough. Thoroughly coat your entire face with a nice even amount, high up so it's not gonna disrupt your makeup, and you are good to go. And that is the last step in this affordable makeup look for beginners. I hope you found this video helpful, especially if you're a beginner just starting out and you want to buy some good affordable makeup products. Everything I recommend in this video are great tried and true products that I highly recommend. They'll all be linked in the description below. If you haven't already subscribed, I would love to have you here. If you like videos like this, you can check out so many more right here. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.